everyone, welcome. This is Dr. Denise Glassmoyer. Today we're going to be revisiting the topic of boundaries. I have received countless questions from so many of you, which is not surprising, as this is a very complex topic. It's one of those things that might sound easy when you first start to talk about it, and then as you actually go to establish and communicate boundaries, you find that it's much harder than it appeared. One of the reasons for this is that boundaries are fluid. We're not establishing a wall. We're basically communicating what it is that we need and want, what it is that we won't accept, and given the present moment nature, this can flex. So it's not like we're setting a hard line in most cases. So why is this so difficult? If you have been in an emotionally abusive relationship, it is likely that you question what you think or feel or want because you're being told by somebody else that they know better than you what those things are. You're being told that what you need and want is ridiculous. You're being told that what you believe you don't really believe. And so you begin to question yourself almost more than you question this person who is treating you so badly. So the first thing that you need to do to set boundaries is to get in touch with yourself again. No one else can tell you what you think or feel or want. No one. So get in touch. Close your eyes, go inward, ask yourself, what am I feeling? If you feel anger, what else is there? Fear, sadness? There's always going to be something else there along with the anger. So get in touch with what it is that you feel. Then, what do I need and want in this situation? Oftentimes when people first begin to establish boundaries, they go from one extreme to the other. Maybe from no boundaries at all with this person to trying to set a wall that's pretty rigid. This is normal. You know, it's almost like the developmental stage of learning how to do this. So coming back to middle ground and saying, okay, check in with yourself here and now in the present moment. What do I feel? What do I need and want to protect myself? And how do I communicate that? When you get to the communication part, I want you to remember, less is more. When you communicate your feelings, it's not a narrative, it's one or two words. When you communicate what you need and want, what your boundary is, you don't need the buy-in, you don't need the other person to understand. It, again, doesn't have to be some long narrative. And when you communicate what you will do to protect yourself, again, keep it really simple and keep it to something you absolutely know that you will follow through on. So let's do an example. When you rage at me, when you scream at me, when you won't listen to me, I feel angry, afraid, and confused. If you do that to me, if you yell and scream at me again, I'm going to ask you to stop. If you don't stop, I am going to, whatever's appropriate for you, leave the room, leave the house, leave for the weekend, whatever it is depending upon your particular situation. So look at the pieces of that. You're not describing him, because we're not going to label him or tell him what he thinks or feels or wants. We're going to describe his behavior. When you do this, I feel one or two words. And if I'm asking you to stop, and if this happens again, I will, whatever action you plan to take to protect myself. If it happens again after that, I'm going to do this. Okay, so you're clearly laying out ahead of time what your plan is. And it is not to get him to do anything or not. You are not establishing boundaries to change his behavior. His behavior might change. He might. But that's not the point of this. The point of this is that you are checking in with yourself and learning how to take care of yourself and to communicate to someone else what's acceptable to you and what isn't. So one of the things here, you need to be prepared when you start to do things differently, when you change, that likely there's going to be a force to change back. So if you set a boundary with someone, particularly someone who is controlling and emotionally abusive, when you first set a boundary, expect for there to be pushback, expect for there to be backlash, and be prepared to stand your ground. If there's physical abuse involved, it's a completely different story, and you need to have a safety plan and not challenge, so to speak. So that's a topic for another time. It is not the area that I focus on. I focus on emotional abuse. So boundaries are complex, but I want you to start thinking about it and keeping it very simple. When you describe his behavior, I feel, 1 or 2 words only, less is more, and I will do such and such to protect myself. If it happens again after that, I will do this. So you go as far as you feel comfortable with, but make absolutely sure that what you say will happen will happen. It does not have to be some big dramatic action. It is what you are doing to protect yourself. And in emotionally abusive situations, one of the first things that we usually need to do is remove ourselves from the situation. We are not victims who have to stand there and be talked to that way. We have a choice, and we can exercise it in a peaceful, calm, non-dramatic way. So we're going to be talking a lot more about boundaries in videos to come. Hopefully this has answered some of the questions. If you have additional questions, just leave a comment here, either YouTube, Facebook, wherever you're seeing this video. Leave me a comment, a question. If it's very personal, you can always instant message me, and it'll be private between you and I. I am so grateful for each and every one of you. I thank you for sharing my videos so that we can get the word out and stand together as women, strong, empowered, moving through our hurts and our fears and being there for one another. Remember, I have been where you are, and I am here to help, and I'm passionate about it. So thank you, ladies. I look forward to seeing you soon.